This is Jim Pro with 2016 Crop Tour. We're just wrapping up, and I wanted to give you our last couple stops for the day. It's Friday afternoon, pretty late. Just interesting. We did go by the very first place we stopped in Marshall County, about 40 miles north of Bloomington today on our way back through. Now that farm, if you go back to our first video, we talked about how dry it was and they were needing the rain. We stopped again today. It's borderline muddy up there, and certainly they had probably the 3 to 4 inches that I would have expected they got from the electronic weather stations that we were monitoring. We did later stop in North McLean County, north of Saybrook. We jumped in a field, 35,000 population, V10. Just it was in good shape. Obviously, they were probably ready for a rain up there, and it looks good now. The last stop was right here on the Champaign-Piatt County line, about 3 or 4 miles north of Mahomet, Illinois. We're in 33,000 crop behind me. It's V9. We're showing a little wind damage from Monday night. Not devastating by any stretch, but certainly some damage out there. And it had clearly been dry on this farm. We were showing some bottom leaves that had died off. It's not had any stress today after the 3 inches of rain plus that this farm had gotten. So I want to now take just a second to thank a few people. I want to thank the sponsors of this trip, AG Farm Management. Jim Goss and his team did Spartan Crop Insurance was also one of our sponsors, and we also picked up a sponsor on the way out with the Spotted Cow beer is our third sponsor. We want to thank a couple folks that we stopped and visited with while we're on our tour. George Delagardelle with Foremost Farms. We spent some time talking technicals with him. Marvin Hodgson out in Omaha, a longtime guy in the grain business, and Bob Goss at Goss Pork hosted us today at lunch. We traveled about 1,700 miles in 6 states in about 3.5 days. I want to thank our tech support and my executive producer and driver, Jim Goss. It's been fun getting caught up. Travel planner, my wife, Jean Pro, got all our hotels lined up and made sure we were on task. We had a couple rules, and I think we did a good job. We had no fast food. We were safe, and we're back in Champaign County. So keep an eye out. Jim's going to try to keep updating this blog as we watch some of the weather electronically through some of the systems out there that he has access to. So we'll try to keep an eye on this the next 30 days. But I want to say the last thing, our overall impression of this trip was pretty interesting. We thought we saw great stands, better consistency both at 11 and 12. This is our 5-year anniversary of our first trip. We saw consistent populations where we're looking at the average stand almost 33,000 on all 25 stops. I would say roughly we think a third of this crop needs another good rain in the next 10 days. A third of this crop doesn't, and a third of this crop it could go either way. I mean, they're certainly not stressed. And I would say that what we saw, the average population or average pollination time is going to be somewhere between July 1st and July 15th. So if you want to watch weather and certainly watch where we have been and watch those temperatures, probably go a long way to tell you what this crop's going to do. And we think the USDA has been talking about this crop being a 75% good to excellent on the corn crop today. We would have a hard time arguing that they're wrong. There's certainly some areas that can't go without a rain, but there's a bunch of potential in this corn crop today toward the end of June. So thanks for participating and watching and passing on to your friends and folks in agriculture, and we'll hopefully see you again next summer.